All right. It's where are e-commerce CEOs really thinking? This is Tony and Jen. Jen is the creator and CEO of Purlisse and the founder of YENSA. Joining Jen is Tony, and Tony is the driving force and creative genius behind Hammitt. True American luxury brand based in LA, and he is the chief cheerleader as well.
They wrote that.
If you saw him last year, you would totally get it. He was rocking this awesome suit. And flowers all over the right. He was ready for the beach. Tony is, well, I'll let Tony talk about himself. But we're going to kick this off. It's going to be a great conversation. Like I said, they're going to be interviewing each other. So without further ado, I'm going to take it.
Before we get started, I know we've been sitting for a long time. I don't mind if you guys get a little stretch or something, you know, it's hard. And I correct myself, we actually met at a NetSuite event 2 years ago on a boat for around 20 minutes, so fashion news. So
we're stuck on a boat.
It did start with tech.
Yeah. So, well, I'll start by saying hi, thank you, welcome, thank you guys for joining us. So, I'm going to start by asking, you know, I always love the origins of a founder and why they started a company and what, you know, why they have this passion. So I want to ask Tony, you know, how did you start Hammitt and why did you go into handbags? Like being a man is not the first, you know, it's not, to me, it's not logical that you would start a female handbag line, but yeah, tell me more about it.
Insanity. Lifetime entrepreneur. Today we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to get real. There's some surprises in the middle. We talked prior on both our entrepreneurial journeys. The third-time entrepreneur took the not-so-straight path. Moved out here in 1990, MBA in finance, jumped right into the first fashion business, roofing, just like Tom Ford. And after a lot of success, and thought I was the god because I was so successful, I jumped right into the fashion business, real estate development, fashion, finance, no fashion, finance. Then, after the second time making literally two fortunes and blowing it all, I decided to look back at the past and why I wasn't able to hold on to the money, and I realized that it was never my passion. I was just in it for the money. So what Garrett said earlier was really important. So I went to my roots, which is Cleveland, Ohio, raised in a small grocery store, and business with integrity. And I looked at what I loved, which was art, architecture, design, and how could I parlay the passion for those things into a business that I hoped would be with for a long time, and fashion fit. And so in 2008, I found some handbags made by local Stephanie Hammitt in Manhattan Beach, and I fell in love with them. And I thought, this should be a bigger brand than it should be. And so we relaunched in my garage in 2008. Luxury, summer, perfect time. Right? Before the Great Recession. When did you launch your first?
So, my first brand, so I have an unconventional path to entrepreneurship. So I started out as a TV villainess on Power Rangers for 2 years. So I was
watching Power Rangers? Come on. Got a real Power Ranger. I looked it up.
So I was fighting Power Rangers, and now I'm saving complexions with Purlisse, my first skincare brand, and then YENSA, which is a superfood cosmetic. But you know, I had to spend 15 hours a day under heavy makeup and bright lights, and this wrecked my skin. I developed rosacea, psoriasis, and adult acne. I went to so many dermatologists, and nothing worked. And that's when I rediscovered my grandmother's Asian beauty secrets and infused her concepts into Purlisse. And then, so I launched January 2008, and as you all know, 10 months later was the Great Recession. So it was.
Why did they call it great?
Because it was that great.
It was a shitty recession. That's right.
It was so, you know, and I thought I was the only one who was going. I struggled so much. I lost my company. You know, I was a first-time entrepreneur. I had put so much into it, take equity out of my condo, and just.
Wait, slow down. You went quickly. Oh wait, you launched with all your own money.
Yes.
And how quickly before you ran out?
Instantly.
Anyone raise their hand? I don't know about that. Yeah, raise entrepreneurs are in this room? Wow, who's not embarrassed to raise it up and say you lost all your money when jumping in? I'm in.
Yeah, me too. Yes, and I was less than zero. And, you know, I took equity out of my condo, and then a loan from my uncle, and then everything that I owned into starting Purlisse. And then, you know, within 10 months, I lost everything, struggled for 2 years, we pulled from the market, and then relaunched in like end of 2011, beginning of 2012.
Wow.
Yes, and I'll go into my second company in a little bit after, you know, because Tony should share some of his, because we have very parallel.
Why did you said, ancient Chinese secret?
Yes.
It was a commercial.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm old. Did I date myself? 20 years ago.
I like to say Asian beauty rituals.
Right, so you launched with that notion that you were going to bring that. And I'm just curious, what was further behind that? You're saying you had skin issues?
Skin issues, so growing up, my grandmother, she would use, we would always have white tea brewed, and we would use that as an antiseptic and drink it. And we also had blue lotus, which is a very rare water lily that we would combine in our tea, and then also soy milk. My grandmother would make it, we would drink it, she washed her face with it, which inspired one of our blue lotus form with cleansing milk. And so these rituals worked, and this was over 10 years ago when we didn't really understand Asian beauty secrets or natural products. We were, we're more on the natural side, paraben-free, mineral oil-free, no GMOs or phthalates. So we were launching at a time when the beauty industry, or the market wasn't really quite open to this concept.
Garrett mentioned there was no Instagram, at least in a big way. What was the initial launch? What were your target? Was it a wholesale launch?
Yes.
Okay.
So over 10 years ago, e-commerce isn't where it's at, direct-to-consumer is not where it's at today. So we launched wholesale into specialty boutique stores such as Henry Bendel, Fred Siegel, CO Bigelow, JP's Cosmetics.
You were in Henry Bendel.
Yes.
Has anyone ever shopped at Henry Bendel in New York City?
It's such a
You
great
can't
store.
shop there anymore.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yes.
We also were in Henry Bendel for about 2 years. The hardest thing I've ever done. Standing
Yes.
in that window for a week on Fifth Avenue, selling one handbag at a time, with no team, just me.
Yes, me too. Just me and my sister-in-law. And we were just hustling nonstop, trunk show. It's called a trunk show back then.
How did you feel? You were cosmetics at Henry Bendel.
Yes.
Now I can tell you that I would not walk through that department at Henry Bendel because they would literally grab you and push you into a chair and start slathering things on. I can't imagine you doing that.
Well, I was.
But that's how cosmetics are sold.
Yes, well, we requested a table right by the elevator, so anybody who was going up and down, my rule was, hey, don't ever let a woman go by you without touching their hand with our product. I would always have a product ready, and I would ask them, hey, what do you use? Here, can I show you this new serum that Purlisse is launching? And we didn't have the luxury of having social media then. So people couldn't look you up, because now people are like, oh, what's your brand? Okay, let me look at what kind of reviews are you receiving, and what's your Instagram? But we had to be 10 times more aggressive back then.
So jumping ahead, Henry Bendel's is now closed
Yes.
for a reason. That business model changed. And what are your expectations now for success for two different brands versus what they were in 2008?
Yes, so quite different. In 2008, it was all about retail. We had to get into certain stores. And then when I launched my second brand, YENSA Beauty, our approach was, we need to launch direct-to-consumer where we can control the content and our messaging, as well as, the visuals, and we were able to measure our success because we actually collaborate with Ipsy. They are our biggest online partner in terms of direct-to-consumer. We send out over, a few million samples per year, and then they direct the buyers to our website to get the full size, and we're able to quickly figure out what are people saying about our products, and they're helping us target the appropriate age and skin types, and are they opting in for a certain product that we're launching. And then we're able to, within 2 or 3 weeks, say, hey, is this product a really good hit? And is this going to be a hit? Is this going to be a product that's going to sell, resonate well with consumers? So we're able to use a lot of data, so completely different than putting all of our efforts into retail over 10 years ago. Now, I believe is a great time to be an entrepreneur because you're able to control so much of what you do. You're not depending on retailers' timeline, budgets. Just because a retailer, you know, they may love your product, but they have a whole team they have to go through, and maybe perhaps they don't have the budget. And now you can say, I can launch products whenever I want, however I want, and I can go direct to the customer.
Very good.
And then later on, I want to get back to our partnership with Dress for Success.
Let's do it.
Yeah, well, no, I have more questions for Tony, but Tony, tell me more about your childhood, because I know your childhood really has set a path and a foundation for you to be a 3-time entrepreneur.
Wow, I walked uphill both ways to school, no shoes, wind in my face. It's crazy how they would switch one after school. Anyone else have that journey? Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and believe it or not, I was raised in a grocery store. Garrett was raised in an eyewear business. My dad had a little teeny convenient food mart. We started working there, all his kids at like 8, 9 years old. It taught me the basics of business, which were, the customer comes first. When they walk in the door, you greet them. Hi, how are you? You help them with whatever they need, and if you can, you walk them out with the groceries in the car. That is an analogy for the basics of all business. Earlier, they talked about the B2B and the B2C. I read something once, I won't take credit, but Hammitt, we focus on doing business H to H. So it's human to human, which is that grocery store experience. Someone walks in the door, it's one person to one person. Simply saying hello makes a big difference in both of your lives. So that basis I've carried through now with Hammitt. Mm-hmm. I think the first 2 businesses that were financially successful and not personally fulfilling was a human business, and I was the only human that was important. And it was how much money could I put in my pocket. My roofing business was paying my guys $50 a day and driving Ferraris. Yeah. And had speedboats. I would never do that again. I'm ashamed of that past, and I'm okay to say that, Eric, I said it before. So if you're working for a boss that's doing that, come work for Hammitt, because I'm not that boss anymore.
Thank God. Yes.
Thank God.
Yes. No, it's awesome that, the transformation in things.
Yeah, I'm 50 now. You a little older. I think every 10 years you raise your bar, or you'll settle for what you call integrity. Coming out from Cleveland in your 20s, honestly, I never really had money. Success to me was being able to afford those things. Yeah, I'm glad I did. It felt good, I guess, at the time. But glad I had some great mentors that told me there's a better way.
Yes, there is.
And that was my dad, really.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just take a listen.
Great story to share. To know that.
What does that have to do with fashion digital? I think everything. Why? 10 years ago, we were told you cut out the middleman, go direct to the consumer. Wholesale's going to die, the retail apocalypse. Amazon's going to take over the world. Is any of that true today? If you believe any of that's true, then I don't believe you do. The entire channel is very important. Yeah. So 10 years ago, you thought you could just go wholesale and build a business. And 5 years ago, I thought it was just a direct-to-consumer business. Now we're back to Warby Parker having stores, about to enter into wholesale, also manufacture a brand, and it's online direct. So that's a business now. That's what it takes. And as I said, if you're not selling on Amazon, you probably need to build a brand in the long run, because it's a huge, huge customer base. So the marketplace is another distribution channel.
I agree. Yes, I agree. Having a multi-channel approach is really important. And, looking back at sort of our evolution, how we started out wholesale, and then the economy crashed, and we failed, and we came back in 2011, 2012 to a whole new world, where half the stores were gone, or they wouldn't take you, the ones that existed, and then now they're gone, can reinvent out. And so then we spent the last several years building online. It has way more better margin structure and way more impact financially, so you can afford to go into retail. And so now Purlisse is going into Riley Rose, Morphe, and we're doing a special collection for CVS this fall. But if we had not spent the last 4 years developing our online, we wouldn't have the capabilities of doing that, going back into retail.
What's driving the most traffic to your website? Because you're in the hottest category, cosmetics, which everyone says, oh great, I want to be in that category. It's the most competitive.
It's very.
I'm in the worst category right now, handbags. It's shrunk. What do you think, team? 11% a year for the past 3 years, I've been told. It's the worst category of my department stores for sales. My specialties can't give away other brands, but we've grown 40% a year for 4 years. I'm not bragging. We just broke 800 points of distribution, all wholesale. We don't have our own. And but it's just as hard because my industry is shrinking.
Yes.
It's probably even harder because everyone has cosmetic brand. So how do you break through?
I think one, you need to have a really authentic story and why, you exist. And I think even being a founder, it kind of goes back to, I think people can really tell if you're not being genuine. And like, why did you start this? And a brand needs to stand for something beyond beauty products. So with my first company, it was about Asian beauty secrets, and it was over 10 years ago. And I feel that we had really high quality products and great and amazing product attributes, but I think that we lack sort of, what do we stand for? I think, so the way we drive people to our website is definitely we have influencers who are talking about our products. We do our own outreach. We do collaborate with Ipsy. So we have also, when we talk about multi-channel, we also have traditional press like Elle, Vogue, Allure talking about our products. And then we have real customers on reviews on our websites really talking about our products all the time. And then our customers. And then we also work with some bigger influencers like Candy Johnson, Michelle Phan, and a lot of those are just genuine relationships I have developed over the years. And
I have to stop you there because I know that. Those are real people that love you, Michelle Phan. These are people you've known for how long?
For over 10 years.
And I think that's an important thing. There's no shortcuts to building great relationships.
Yes, and yes, exactly. And then so when I launched my second company, YENSA Beauty, is superfood cosmetic, because of all the mistakes I learned, I knew right off.
You didn't make any mistakes.
Oh no, I made so many mistakes. I shouldn't even be here, but I hung on. Seriously, it was like dear life. And then we barely, literally, I can tell you, when we were struggling, I met from New York, San Francisco, I met every single investor, and nobody wanted to invest because I was desperate, and then my company was less than zero. I literally had $40 in my bank account, and then flew back to LA, literally my very, very last meeting, and I just was so crushed that I was like, this isn't even going to work out. I'm going to want to go to this meeting. But it was my very last meeting that started the turnaround. And so, hanging in there, and it was our collaboration with Ipsy, my Glam at the time, and they were starting out in direct-to-consumer subscription, and it was crazy because no big brands wanted to give them products. And this is when we relaunched, and none of the stores wanted us, and we had a warehouse full of products. So that was the beginning of taking a chance, a novel idea, which is it's now a proven concept, but at the time it was a novel idea. And so I took a risk with us, and then thankfully it worked out, and that was the start of, okay, I need to go direct. I need to build my community and my brand online. So yeah, so I can go into my second brand in a second, but I think that I want to ask you, you have something else to say? No, go ahead.
I never talk. I'm very quiet. We did meet at Net's. It's funny when we spoke about our similarities, and we did both start in 2008. She leveraged her condo, I leveraged my condo. We both lost our condos in a short sale, gave it back to the bank within a couple of years. And now she's got young kids, my son was in the middle. So this middle struggle that we had in the 11-year span, it was real. And that's how we kind of fell in love with with each other fun. I'm like, oh my God, somebody that's just authentic about the fact that now that everything's good and the money's flowing, they're not just telling that story.
Yes.
It's such an easy story to tell. You know,
Yes.
much more real, and that's what Sandy wanted today, was to be that the struggle is real. Being an entrepreneur is difficult.
Yes.
My belief, and again, we compare, is if you have that North Star, if you really know where you want to go, as an entrepreneur, it's your job to not lose sight of that, but at the same time, be open to whatever comes at you today so that you can adjust and pivot so that you'll eventually get there. So you have to be open and flexible, which means when we both were, down on our luck, we went out to our customers. We said, what can we do differently? How can we change? And what I was told was lots of things. Your bags suck, the quality's not there, the design's not relevant, they're too heavy. You need this. Add functionality, they're bottomless pits. And this came from trunk shows at Henry Bendel's. These were people, and I was like, I can do that, and we just kept adjusting and adjusting. The fact that no buyers would buy the bags, I always said, why? Versus, come on. I know I said, come on, like 10 times. And I said it again. But they still never bought them. But I would always listen and say, why? And they're finally like, you need to get to this point. So, about 5 years in, we started focusing on what the buyers wanted. In the handbag business then, there was no luxury, beautiful leather, soft, crossbody functional bags. It became our little niche. And we kind of owned that segment. And then from there, we picked up specialties and resorts, and then eventually department stores. And the second thing I heard over and over again was the associates on the floors of the boutiques tell you everything. And they were sick of having a price match or lose sales to people that would come in and discover the brand and then leave and buy it online cheaper. So I was like, well, how can we fix that? And they're like, don't go on sale. And I was like, well, how can I do that? They're like, we don't know, but figure it out. So we developed a model around non-promotion. It was a very hard thing to do, especially when there's no money flowing. But it was that North Star. If you want to build a great brand, you have to have partners. And if your partners are telling you they don't want to compete with you, then you can't compete with them. So then you just got to figure out how to get there. And our model was higher and higher quality product, maintaining full margin business through all channels, and then see what happens. And now we're on our way. So, I think we've talked about map pricing and non-promotion, and we're on that same path.
Yes.
I think whether you're fashion digital or whether you're just fashion, whether you just make products and sell it, being able to provide full margin through all channels is the new black. It's necessary if you don't want to end up on Amazon Marketplace, a commodity. And if you're on Amazon Marketplace, a commodity, it's a slow shift. Did anyone read Prada just announced no more promotion, no more discounting by the end of this year? They're going to close all their discount stores, they're going to stop doing everything. Prada's finally learning that is how you build a great brand again. And then they just now announced a huge drop in collaboration with Hypebeast for shoes, which is ridiculous, their first product. So keep an eye on that brand because they were so promotional and so discounted. I don't think anyone here would rock Prada.
I agree. Going back to, having your brand stand for something, I think in beauty it's really important because, beauty is about building confidence in women and actually really standing for something. So with my second brand, YENSA Beauty, it is a superfood cosmetic. It's inspired by my last name, Yen, so it means color and face. And so when we launched YENSA, I knew right away that I wanted YENSA to stand for something. And I wanted to be aligned with women's rights and also women's leadership. So on International Women's Day on March 8th, we launched 8 shades of our BC Foundation in partnership with Dress for Success, which is an organization that empowers women's financial independence. So I created this campaign in partnership with Dress for Success on their Your Hour, Her Power, where we got 8 superwomen to get on camera and talk about their stories and struggles and how they overcame them and encourage the viewers to donate an hour of their salary for Dress for Success. success. And so now, I feel very confident that YENSA stands for something. I love what we're doing. I love that I get to employ an amazing group of women, and we are for women. And so I'll just show you guys a really quick video of what the video we did for Dress for Success. And literally, I talk more about this video than our products. And so I'm very proud of what we stand for and what YENSA, is doing in helping women's leadership. And, we just want to do anything we can to just help women get closer to financial independence. So can we show the video?
I want to empower the girl who doesn't feel comfortable in her own skin.
I want to empower the woman who wants to be a mother and an entrepreneur.
The girl who's finding her voice.
The girl who's putting on a brave face.
The woman who has something to say.
Who needs confidence.
Who feels underrepresented.
Who's ready to fight.
Who was told you won't make it.
Give it up.
You're not strong enough.
Smart enough.
Pretty enough.
Too outspoken.
Sensitive.
Different.
Bossy.
Nice.
Too common.
Too young.
No.
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 No way.
I want to empower women.
Women.
Women. Women.
Women.
Women.
Women.
Because women helping women, that's beauty.
Right?
Who could you help?
Join us in your hour, her power. Donate an hour of your salary to Dress for Success. Empower a woman today.
Well done.
Thank you. And, so many people have asked me, oh my goodness, how much did you pay these women? Or did you have a huge budget for this campaign?
Oh, and I know the answer to this.
Yes, the answer is no. I didn't pay any of the women because I feel, going back to what you're saying, if you do something from your heart, your passion, you're going to attract those women. And if you have a certain mission that's aligned with other women, so I went to these women and I told them about what we were doing. Yes, some agents and managers came to me with these big budgets and said, if your client wants to be paid for this, they're not the right woman for this campaign. Because you're investing your time, we're investing our time to put together this campaign. And we are helping women who are not as privileged as we are. So we're in this together. So luckily I was able to get my friends, the 8 women that were in this video, and they were in alignment. And they were like, yes, we're going to do it. And then CAA donated their space, their studio for us, and so did IPSI. So it was a definitely collaboration of like-minded people and companies that made this video happen. We did it on a shoestring budget, and we met our goals of what we were attempting to raise for Dress for Success.
I was asked, but I didn't have time. I think we're wrapping up. We have 40 minutes. I don't know if we have Q&A. I'll ask myself a question that you're going to ask, and I'll ask you, which was, some advice for other entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So you said you had 1 or 2 pieces of advice that maybe you want to throw out? What's
Sure.
one thing you tell someone that is in 2008 going to start a cosmetic brand besides don't?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't say don't, because so many people told me not to, and I was like, I'm not listening to you, I'm going to do it. And so I can't possibly tell people who want to start cosmetic medicine, it's just really, really hard. And I think, back to what I was saying, you have to be really authentic and genuine with why you're starting a beauty company. I mean, to be natural and infused with science today, it's just not enough, because there's so many that's out there. I think speaking from your heart, from having a pain point, a point of suffering, like in my case it was, I lost my confidence because of my bad skin reacting to this heavy makeup. You need to know what's next. You need to be engaged in new technology, new ways of doing business, whether that's getting data on your customers, being predictive about how, in my case, how the woman, her lifestyle, how she might age. I think that's really important, is to always be reinventing.
Awesome.
And what about you? What are your 3 pieces of advice?
Well, I'll leverage the first one you talked about integrity I mentioned earlier. You have to know your end game where you want to go. So whether you're an entrepreneur in this room or whether you're an entrepreneur, which if you're here, you're working for somebody, you're an entrepreneur, because to me you're learning and you're growing. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. So this applies to both. As the founder of a company, I looked in the mirror and I knew the level of integrity that I currently was at. And I think in 10 years I've raised that. And I made a decision early on that I wouldn't sacrifice that with anyone around me. So this is where I was, and I didn't want anyone that at least wasn't at that level. You know, my dad taught me you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And in building a brand, the 5 people I think about is my employees, the artisans that make our bags, these retailing partners, and the financing, the people that fund the company, and then myself. So I made sure that that average kept getting raised every year, not being lowered. I also made sure, don't bring anybody into that circle that lowers the average, no matter what you think it's worth, because that becomes the new average for your company. That's really tough when times are tough. But if you sacrifice and slip a little bit, next thing you know, you wake up, you're either out of business or you're just really miserable. So that 5 friends is my best piece of advice. Knowing where you want to go in the long run will keep you on track even when you pivot and go around. And number 3, I'll repeat again, is just have integrity, whatever that means to you, and hold on to it. It'll get you through the toughest times as an entrepreneur, or when you have a bad boss or a difficult situation in work, because at least you know you're in integrity for yourself. And if you're being the best person you can be in those situations, you will get through it and you'll come out on top. So thanks for listening to this Fireside Chat. Do we have any questions? We're open. We have time. Yes?
So, to an entrepreneur that might be currently where you guys were back in the day before you made success, or they're in the red, they're losing their house, they're just at a major financial struggle, you know, like, do you just keep going, or is there a point in time where you need to admit that it might be time to call it?
So what advice would you give to an entrepreneur that's, you're already in the game, and you're kind of where we were, right? Houses are gone, all the fun's gone. I'll take it. Do you know where you want to go? Then keep going. Because you only lose when you quit. And quitting sucks. So don't quit, get fired, or literally run out of all options. Then at least you know you pushed it to the end, and there's probably still a gift in that that'll get you restarted again.
Yeah.
Promise.
I agree with Tony. I think that, you know, what he's saying, like, no, basically make sure you exercise all your options. Literally, I told you earlier, I went to New York, San Francisco, and I came back to LA. It was literally my very, very last meeting. I was like, this doesn't work out, I'm turning off the lights, because I know I gave it my all. But it was literally my very last meeting that started the turnaround. So that's 1. And 2, it's okay to retreat and take a moment and be still to make the next leap. You know, if you have to take some time, I think that's probably the best thing, because sometimes you find yourself spinning in a wheel. And you just need to take some time to know what your next steps are.
How far are you willing to go? For me, it was, again, a couple of million in debt, couch surfing for a couple of years.
Yes.
And every week borrowing money from someone else at ridiculous interest rates and then paying it back. But guess what? I ain't quitting. And I'm not, you know, I am a little bit. By not quitting, I'm able to come up here today and tell you we made it through. And there was a lot of luck in between, and most importantly, a lot of people that believed in me.
Yes.
My manufacturer carried me for 180 days when I couldn't pay.
Yeah.
My suppliers carried me forever when I couldn't pay. Guess who I'm still working with today? And it's all of those people that believed in Hammitt when we shouldn't have been believed in.
Yeah.
But that passion and commitment will carry you through.
Exactly.
As an employee, it's the same thing. During the toughest times, you'll see some employee that you know you're having a tough time as a company, but their passion is there. Those are the ones that make it through, and the company gets on the other end, and they lead companies. They're CEOs, they're COOs, they're entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And other people, they quit, and that's okay, because it gets tough. At times, it's time to move on. But if you've made it this far in fashion and digital, you're probably one of those people that push through. It's time for us to kick some ass the next 5 years. And we are. As an industry and as a segment, fashion is on fire right now if you're in the right place.
I agree. What Tony's saying is absolutely correct, because we are examples of, you know, pushing through, because had we given up during this really crazy, suffering, struggling time, we wouldn't be up here. But I think it goes back to what Tony said, if you do have integrity and you stand for something, people will come to your aid. People will come and help you. If you have what Tony was saying, integrity, and you have that loyalty. Same with me, like people stuck by me when there was no reason to, and I still remember those people today. I still value them so much, and they're still my friends, as well as we still work with the people that stuck with us when we couldn't pay them forever and ever and ever.
I still never paid any of them, Billy. And what's another one? Any other questions? No? Yes? I know you're hungry. You want a break? You want coffee? I think it's time to socialize. I have a rule when it comes to these things. I introduce myself to as many people as possible. Why? That's why we're here. If you're here with someone else, go separate directions and promise yourself you're going to meet 2 people. Because one of those people 7 or 6 years ago that I met was the person that gave me a lot of money. So you never know. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.